Okay, so let's go to the second part. Manuel Goesttsching is my big guest today. Thanks for being here, Manuel, and happy that I'm sharing this with many people that have followed your career and have, you know, searched for your records. And it was not always easy to do it in Chile. I have to again give credit to my friend Ivan Brantes, who kindly invited me to meeting you back in 21. You say, I think it was 22, but whatever. I also met with Ilona. You were very kind and friendly people, so thank you for that. And I have some more questions for you now, Manuel. One of them is, well, how important do you think vinyl records are really? Because there was a time when CDs made vinyl disappear, people sold or even trashed their record collections, and now they are all crying and weeping, and they all were crazy about vinyl now. What was missed? What was lost when vinyl disappeared? Obviously, I am a vinyl collector, so I know how much it means. The artwork, you can grab it, you can look at the pictures, you can read things, and digital is boring.
Yes, no, I think that's it. It's artwork. It's something for collectors. Yeah, it has something special.
Mhm.
The CD was becoming popular very quick. Of course, the sound is many people. Uh, Many people claim that the sound of the CD is not really warm. It's too digital. It's too cold, and so I I don't know, but I never felt that. But the biggest problem was that CDs became not really a kind. They don't have a really value in that much because very soon there were the CDs that you can record yourself. Uh, uh, burn CDs, you're saying. So to have a CD, uh, you don't see the difference between a pressed or burned, self-burned CD. So it's a medium which is a medium. Of course, you have the covers. It's not booklets. Booklets are nice because you have many pages if you want. But I can imagine that for collectors, of course, it's something more to have something more in your hands with the vinyl
Mhm.
cover.
Everything is beautiful about vinyl. The
Make
label,
some cracks up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good or make some noise, but it's, uh, I don't know. I'm also surprised about that, but yeah, of course, I like it.
Let me try to
And for
share.
me, it's a good chance
Uh-huh.
because for me, it's a good point to release this covers, original covers.
I just realized that I cannot share images in this communication because you go away. So I will favor your image. No, I was trying to show the OR, the label logo, which is so beautiful, the ear. Uh, yeah, yeah, vinyl is beautiful. The
Yeah,
yes. Now, Manuel, there's been so much talk about this word, the crowd rock, and I think that some people have made some documentaries where they say that crowd rock really gave a new life to German music. I don't know what's your view about it. And I think there's even some documentaries that maybe they invited you, or maybe I've never seen you in documentaries about the few documentaries that there are about German music or about crowd rock. Well, I don't think you consider yourself belonging to that scene. They put in the same bag many different styles of music from Germany in the so-called crowd rock.
well, that's a big story, crowd rock. There are quite a few documentaries, films about this,
Mhm.
but there are many more books existing about crowd rock. Only in the last 2 years, I received 3 or 4 more new books only on the subject crowd rock. Krautrock is is the name of what you name a period from the mid 1960s to mid 1970s. And uh, this is a period in which so many different types of music were played in Germany. There was a new generation. There was a generation that wanted to split with the former German traditions. There was a lot to. There was really a gap after the Second World War, a cultural gap where musicians and composers, artists, not only in music but also film, theater, literature, emerged. They had to immigrate during this time, and there was they had to do something new, creative in Germany, and it was middle of the 60s in music. Um, uh, Music that came influences from America, from Great Britain to the or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or something like this. The beat music and that from America, the beat mix or the hippies. So there was a big demand for German musicians to create something new, to create anything. But there was no real business. There were no record companies. There was a kind of private management was not allowed. Uh, it was only governmental management. So it was all experimental and all very chaotic. And so it was from kind of rock music, but there was also blues music. There was pre-jazz. There was avant-garde, there was folk music, there was electronic music, uh, a great variety of music, and musicians played wherever and whatever they liked. And I mean, a lot of it was rubbish, but there were some interesting experiments. And so these survived, like Junto or like the Can or later, early Kraftwerk were a very experimental band. Later became they very commercial, but in the beginning they were only improvising. I don't know, Harmonia, Klust, or from Berlin, these bands, Ash Ra Tempel, Tangerine Dream, Vegetation Free. Uh, and there was a lot of energy, and all this could be could be would be together called Krautrock. I think it's a nice name. It's Kraut is means what does it mean in English? Cabbage.
Yeah, it's a vegetable.
Yes, vegetables. Yeah. So it's also Unkraut, which means that it's not to control it.
Oh, look at that.
If you have a garden and then some green stuff is there which you don't want. They call it Unkraut.
Didn't know that.
Uh, so yes, it's just a diversity of musical experiences at the time, and um, maybe the name rock is not. If I have any objections, I would say the name rock is maybe a bit critical because it's uh, the term rock music was not really existing in the 1960s. It was beat music. There were the Beatles, it was beat or it was for rhythm and blues. It's rock music. The name rock is really more the name which emerged as a term of music in the 1970s, the rock bands.
Hmm.
So, but outward was okay. And I think the music from early Ash Ra Tempel, from first Ash Ra Tempel, Schwingungen, and joined in, yeah, it belongs to this period, and so I have no problems with it.
Mhm. And Manuel, sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, Inventions, when I started as a solo albums, Invention is something different. I wouldn't call it folk.
Absolutely
Uh,
not. Yeah, I
uh,
was going. I was going to ask you if Ilona, or I mean, if you've been documenting, if you've been filming your shows along the years. In Chile, we have a very popular and important band, which is a fusion of rock with ethnic world music, electric ethnic music, Los Jaivas, which came from the word high and bass, the bass guitar. And then they finally were named themselves Los Jaivas, high bass. It's a deformation of the word. Yeah. And then there's one of them, the piano player, Claudio Parra, which is a big family, the Parra families. He's been archiving most of the performances, the life in France they led some years ago. So are we going to see some documentary about your own career someday, maybe a book about Manuel Goesttsching and Ash Ra Tempel and all the musical adventures you've been living? Or you don't want?
well, there's already a book existing, an
Yes.
English book by Christian William, which is really, really very a profound research about all the music. This is not a book about my private life or personal things, but it's very much about music. But he's very precise in describing all the parts of music that I played. And of course, yeah, we now is preparing a film about documentary about my history. Of course, she's working on a film about the history of Seven Up, which is not about me or Timothy. It's about the period, about the time, what young people were thinking of, thinking about 1972 and what happened to it and what became with their ideas and illusions and dreams, what was going on later. So, yeah,
Mhm.
recorded in the last 20, 25 years, we've recorded nearly everything. Uh, Concerts and a lot of interviews and documents. In the beginning was very little material because there was no video at the time. Um, I have some old film, there was some film material, we had some old film Super 8 material, but filming was difficult because filming needed a lot of light. And you have to prepare lights for filming concerts or for filming anything. And with videos, it's much more easy to film everything.
And do the TV channels maybe have some material, the news film reels? Do you think you could have access to that material, or you didn't get much TV back in those days?
No, but if there is any material, we have it. For
Okay,
example, like the concert in Barcelona, I have good copies.
yeah, no, I meant the Ashra Temple era, the initial days. Like if there are bits of shows or interviews maybe from the early 70s, it would be interesting to get to see those bits.
Mm.
Mhm,
Yeah, there's some audio documents, but not so much video or film material.
mhm. Now, I was going to ask you, Manuel, about you possibly remember when Klaus Schulze invited you to work on the Breathtaking Blue, the album by Alphaville, that I think they are from Berlin too, the pop band Alphaville. Do you remember those sessions? the Forever Young, the hit singles on the radio, and Big in Japan.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, it was by accident because they were recording. They were recording here in Berlin. After they had a studio not far from my place. And one day Klaus asked me, they were asking for one track if I would like to play some guitar. And so we met, and yeah, it was a nice evening.
Yeah, but I think they've been quite big in Germany. They were big in the United States with the singles, even here in Chile. But
Yeah.
yes, I was surprised that Klaus Schulze got into the production of their music at one point. Yes.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember, it was later in the 1980s, so he was
Yes.
in one production. I don't remember the name of the record,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
the
they're still the singer, Marian Gold, he's still performing as Alpha B. The others are not anymore with him.
okay.
He's still performing. He has some new musicians, and
Yeah.
yeah, concerts and
Now I can.
performing the old.
Uh-huh. I would like to leave out of this nice talk with you, Manuel, the big phenomenon of E2, E4 that I also got to know through my good friend Ivan with a particular chest cover, and I was really hooked when I found out that it was only one piece divided into two sides of the record in those days. And as many people have said, it's really amazing how you can make a full journey. I mean, you take us in a full journey from the very minimal initial sounds to little variations that happen one after the other, and how you build up a whole very powerful drive. It's like a real interesting, it's a unique album. And I was wondering if you ever thought, oh, what did they do to my music when you found out that they were dancing to your music? I don't think that you bother about that. It was a strange occasion, I suppose. Why do you think made this record such a big favorite of everyone? Maybe you are, maybe you've been asked this question several times, but it really became a highlight. Maybe you didn't imagine that.
Yes and no, it's difficult because in the beginning it was not intended
Mhm.
to be one of my new albums. So I just recorded it as I did record many sessions in my studio in 1981 and before over the years from 1975, 6, 7. I always recorded sessions at night or at day. Yeah, but this one was somehow, I don't know, in a way it was somehow perfect. And I played it to quite a few my friends, and they all said, wow, this is great, and it's really good. And I said, yeah. Uh, my idea was at the time, my idea was to release something different. I wanted to make a solo album with a kind of more orchestral approach, some orchestral uh, parts of it, very much composition and not so much improvisation. But I had this tape, so I thought, well, maybe not, maybe I should try it. And so I told you before that I thought about, I still had a contract with Roman Records where there was an option to put single version. And I thought they didn't know what to do with it because they becoming too much into the commercial schemes of music, short tracks, and so what should they do with one track of 60 minutes and only two chords in this track?
Mhm.
So then even it's not easy to put it on a record with 60 minutes on a vinyl because at the time there was not yet the CD was not yet the medium; it was still a
No.
vinyl. And so I thought, no, I just wait and see how it will work. And then 2 years later, it was Klaus who formed a new label, and he asked me, "Do you have, if ever I want to participate with one of my music?" And so I thought, okay, maybe take this one, and I gave him this album for the. Started very slowly and not very spectacular. I had some crazy and really not very nice reviews in Germany. They said it's bullshit. It's really ridiculous. Only two chords and for 1 hour, and I really don't know anything about electronic music, and I should better listen to Depeche Mode or something like this. So, yeah. But many years later, all these people had to excuse for their for their opinions because it was.
Mm.
And then went step by step. It was a huge success in the United States, in Detroit, Chicago, and then New York. And I only got very little information about it, but yes, it was played in clubs and people were dancing to it. And so I couldn't imagine this because, of course, I did not intend it to as a dance piece because there's not a heavy bass drum in the foreground, and so. But of course, it's very there's a rhythm, and there's a lot of rhythm in it. And so yeah, why not? And then it's becoming an evergreen, and it's still going on more and more, and it never stopped since then. So it's getting always bigger and bigger and bigger, and getting more and more and more. We have there was this huge success with the Sony Latino in Italy, which is based in 34. But also and also orchestras or classical orchestras were playing it, were using it. So it's not only in dance.
And you don't usually play that. Huh? You don't usually play the album or bits of the album live, do you? I think you played it a couple of times, not many times.
Yes, I played it. I played it now maybe 15 times or so. I never intended to play it because I didn't think that it was possible because I used all my studio equipment, the big mixing desk, the tape recorders, uh, echo, various synthesizers. So to bring that all on stage seemed impossible. Um, but I found a possibility with now modern computer technology when I use some new programs, I can perform it yeah, with just a little keyboard. So I found ways to make a modern interpretation of it. And this I performed, yes, quite a few times. I started 2006 in Japan, a huge festival, the Metamorphosis Festival. And then I played it in New York at the Lincoln Center open air in front of a big audience with the Ashra light show performed with it, the traditional old light show from 1969. I performed it in Australia, I performed it in Europe, in many countries. But always, yeah, a bit limited. One time in a country, or 3 times. It's not, I don't perform it that much. Next time it will be in Cologne at the Philharmonic in Germany.
Right.
Last time it was at the Hamburg at the Elbphilharmonie, in London at the Barbican Center. But it's one time per year, so it's one concert in a year, maybe more. But
Manuel, yes.
it's a huge success. We have Pt.2 is for 5 years now also on vinyl again, and I made a very nice vinyl edition. It's selling incredible. Yeah, so we're up to 30,000 again with E34, and we cannot repress as much as we have to. And just now, today or yesterday, I finally started to present it online in different shops, and it was never before online available officially, only not officially. So let's see. So it's still growing, and I don't know.
And
I
what?
think it's because
Mhm.
it's the music is very simple and it invites you to play with it or to work with it or to use it. You know, so that's why many musicians make cover versions or make
Samples.
songs. Uh, uh, yeah, so there are
Mhm.
hundreds of self-playing versions of it.
Manuel, how different is the language you use when you have been asked by some filmmakers, like the Chilean film director Patricio Guzman, even Ilona Siok? How you've been working for some film music in the past? How different is the language? I mean, music is music, you will say, but have you been? Do you have any nice memories of some occasion or some documentaries or film material you work for?
Very different, yeah, because I I don't know. I do not really compose the music many times, maybe a few times. But the music is very nice. It's very suitable for films. And the first one was in 1975, the Basseau de Cristal with Nico from French director Philippe Perret, an experimental film. But we didn't play especially the music for the film. So he just liked some of our music of the Ash Ra Tempel. So I took in my studio, I took 10 tapes and I've chosen some of the tapes, some of the pieces, and I gave it to him for this music. And he used parts of these tapes um, for the film. So that's okay. So, but I didn't especially compose it. I did some nice experiment with an old silent movie by German director Murnau
Yeah.
from the early 1920s. His film Schloss Vogelöd, in English the title
Castle, the castle, the one about the castle.
The Haunted Castle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was inspired because Ilona, my wife, made a film about a silent movie, original silent movie piano player,
Yes.
who was more than 100 years old, and he was still performing and became a big star in Germany again when he was very old. And it was interesting just to see um, how he performed, how he played, how he improvised. He never used any scores. He played really in the tradition of those piano players who were just uh, who had a job to play a little piano to any film in any cinema. So and
Mm-hmm.
that's what he did when he was a young boy and when he was studying music. And so he did it in the same way, and it was really exciting and really interesting how he performed, how he played, and
Mm-hmm.
how he could improvise with any film. So many times he didn't know the film before. He just saw the pictures and then made something wrong with it, which seems to fit or not. And so this inspired me to make some music, electronic music, to time there were the computers, more computers able to perform live. So I used this nice program, Ableton, which was a live program to play it. And my idea was, yeah, also to improvise and to uh, make a kind of modern electronic improvisation to this film. Unfortunately, everything went completely different because the film company or the rights holder of the film, they made a new version of it. original speed and coloring this black and white movie. So there's much longer, there's much more tragic, not this rough black and white picture that I've seen in the beginning. And they asked me to perform with an orchestra, with people, with musicians from the Brunswick State Orchestra. So these people, of course, they do not improvise. They need a score. So I had to compose it. And so I made a mix of it. I made a mix of 50% of the film was really composed for the musicians from the orchestra, and the other 50% was me playing a little more improvised. But it was an interesting experiment. I performed it in Brunswick with this orchestra, and I later made some versions, some solo versions, which I performed in some countries, in Korea and China, Beijing, one in Los Angeles, in the very traditional oldest silent movie theater, or yeah, it was funded by Goethe Institute. Interesting experience. There's
You
sometime.
you've never been to Latin America. I don't remember. I mean, I don't know if you remember. At least when Isabel Mardones, my reporter friend, came back from meeting you with Ilona back in 2008, she said that the Goethe Institute here was planning some sort of film festival in Valparaiso, and they wanted to invite you. But that never happened, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
You never been here in Latin America except when Ilona came back in 2020 to the film festival.
Yes.
Okay.
Never been.
I mean playing.
We had some. Well, we had some invitations from Brazil, from Argentina, but it never happened. I don't know why.
Okay.
The biggest problem is of course the traveling, the transports, and
But you use just your notebook and a guitar? I read that you simply travel with a few things. You don't.
But I always bring my assistant and technician, so he needs a flight. And I fly only business class, so long distance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it anymore.
So,
it's a long journey.
yes,
Yeah.
I will. Yes, I would do it, but not much. So it costs a little bit more, and I don't know why. Maybe it's still open.
Yeah. We should see you one day. Now, Manuel, I know that two friends of yours, one of them I'm going to interview soon, Mr. Harald Grosskopf and Lutz Ulbrich have been a long time adventures companions. You have any special? Well, you still work with them, at least with Harald. I think you played with Harald not long ago.
With Harald, it's quite long ago. I think it was 10 years ago. We played. Maybe you don't have it. We played a nice concert here in Japan, and then we played a nice concert in Berlin.
Yeah, this one is amazing.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Right.
Fantastic. This is amazing. I recommend it to everyone watching this. Live in Osaka and Tokyo, 1997. Yeah, that's long ago.
Yeah, we made a DVD. We played before. Yeah.
Is this the same?
No.
This is the
concert
with Harald. Okay.
With Harald and Steve. This is without Lutz.
Steve Baltes, yes.
This is the DVD. I can send you one.
The
DVD concert performance in Berlin in 2012. And we performed the album Correlations.
Okay. I don't know how to pronounce this, but my favorite track from this live in Osaka and Tokyo is Niemand lacht rückwärts. What does it mean? I should know.
Nobody is laughing.
This is amazing. This is a bomb. This is amazing. The way you end up, it's like an explosion. It is such a
The
powerful.
original, that's the original is from a solo recording from my. It's a studio session of my from me in the 1970s. The first version is on this private tapes.
Sure. I was going to ask you about the private tapes, Manuel. Are you
That's a
considering?
solo version of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. But the private tapes are gone. Are you ever going to reissue those?
Well, there was a yes, of course. There was a two CD set called "The Best of the Private Tapes,"
Mhm,
and
mhm.
this one I would like to re-release. But this year we had so much to do with the re-release of Schwingung, and then I mean it's too much. Yes, we are just a small label and not a
Yeah.
big company, so I cannot release all.
Yeah.
But I would like to release this best of, which is, and I would like to change two or three or to add some new tracks which were not on the original version. And from the original 6 CD set private tapes, concert recordings from very early Ash Ra Tempel with Klaus Schulze, Goesttsching, and Harald and Harmut Henke. And I still have these tapes, and these uh, on these private tapes, these were only excerpts. So I would like to release all these concert tapes in original
Yeah.
length on vinyl, which would be 6, 7 vinyls.
Wow, that would be amazing. Now, you still
Yeah.
keep do you still keep magnetic tapes, or everything is gone to digital?
Yes, but all of my native tape. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how do you store them? Because they are so fragile if you don't store them carefully.
Oh, oh, it works. You
Yeah.
should not think too much about it. Now,
Okay.
it depends a lot on the quality of the tape.
Sure.
I have certain tapes. They were quite expensive studio tapes. They don't work anymore. They are sticking.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can't
But you
use
know
it anymore.
they bake they put the tapes in the oven and
They
they bake
break.
them.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I know. But I have a lot of very simple and very cheap tapes from 1969, 70, 72. They're perfect. There's no problem, and you can
Okay.
replay it, and so they still work. So
Mhm.
it depends on the tapes and what tapes you're into. But I have kept all the tapes from the period, and I transferred most of them to digital to the computer, and so I have all these concert tapes from all the early concerts, from Ash Ra Tempel concerts from the beginning, 4 or 5, I think it was 4 or 5 concerts, a long concert.
So I imagine that
And
you like the sound of the tape. I imagine you do like the sound of the magnetic tape, which is so different. Even some bands have
yeah,
been returning to magnetic tape, like in the 90s, late 90s. Some younger
yeah,
bands. Hmm.
yeah, I like it, yeah. But it's a lot to do, so really to make all these,
Yeah.
especially it's not only the music, but you have to prepare the covers and to look for some nice photographs. And I have a lot of material, original promotion material, press text, press releases, and yeah, to put it all together. I have a lot of original posters from the time. So,
Okay. Well, thanks for the yeah. That was an incredible collection of tracks, unreleased tracks,
yeah,
and live shows. Yeah, I would like to see that again because I didn't have the chance to. I wasn't aware when the tapes came out, when the set came out, the private tapes. I will
but
be
do you know
waiting.
the best of? Do you know this best of private tape?
I think I've checked. I've seen that on Discogs on the internet, but I don't have a. I don't. Ivan, I think showed me the CDs, but I don't have the set myself. So I hope that you do reissue them at some point in time when you can.
Yeah.
And my last question, Manuel, is about a musician that I really like a lot since Departure from the Northern Wasteland came out. and I have also appreciated his music for film, like I Am Madman. I am speaking about Michael Koenig. Sorry about my pronunciation. I know that you did good things with him, good music. Do you still keep contact with him, or have you worked with him lately?
No, this was the only one.
Mhm.
Uh, yes, we are a little bit in contact, not really, but I know he lives in Ibiza on the island.
Ah, yeah.
For many years he was in Los Angeles as a film producing film music.
Yes.
He went back to Europe, and so from time to time he's coming to Berlin. And I remember we had a meeting. We met it's again 10 years ago. So,
Mhm. Yeah, but the album, I really like that album. Early Water. It's really really one of my favorites.
yeah, that's nice. Yeah, maybe we have. Michael is still playing from time to time with Lutz, Ulbrich, performing as agitation free when they do some concerts for
Mhm.
on the distance. The only thing I had, we had 1 year ago. There was um, the idea to put the nameplate at the place where you know about this place, the Electronic Beach Studio in Berlin. And there was the idea, Danke Manuel had the idea from somebody else to make a plate with the names here to remember this place and to remember the studio.
What's the name?
Electronic Beach Studio.
Okay.
Electronic Beach Studio, which was the origin of the Berlin School, which was the origin where Tangerine Dream played, Schulze played, Education Free played, Ash Ra Tempel played.
Mhm.
Was in you should know more about the story. It was a nice place in a school, and we went there for 2-3 years. The teacher was a Swiss composer called Thomas Kessler,
Yeah.
another art composer. And so we had the idea to remember this place only with the, put the
Yeah.
thing on the wall.
I've seen a picture of
Uh,
you standing below the plate or near the plate. Yes.
yeah. So, and initially we planned to make some concerts for the installment of this place, but due to Corona, nothing happened and we couldn't do it. So maybe we can do it next year. I
Yeah.
would like to invite Thomas Kessler for this place. And Michael Hönig was sending he didn't come, but he was sending a video message very openly. Uh, and this plate was sponsored by Bernd Zimmer.
Right.
You know Zimmer, the film composer?
Okay. I remember.
Right, big guy, yeah.
Well, I
And
hope that.
he was very much influenced by musicians who played the big Moog synthesizer.
Mhm.
And, yeah, he's a big figure in film music.
Did you ever
Yes,
sorry, Manuel, did you ever meet or work? I don't think you work, but did you ever possibly met Florian Fricke, whom I admire so much? I really love his Popol Vuh project. I'm a really big fan of that. As soon as
yes,
I knew Herzog, yeah.
yes. I met Florian a few times. First time I met him when we had just recorded the Seven Up album, and I had a tape of the recording. And Florian came to Berlin. I don't know why. And he visited us, and he wanted to listen to the tape, and I couldn't believe it. And he really liked it so much. He wanted to ask, "Oh, can you play it again? Can you play it again?" And he had to run the tape and play again. And play it again. I had to play it 3 or 4 times. I didn't believe. I couldn't believe it because at the time he was really not into
Yes.
his synthesizers and a different type of
Floating style.
music.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was really fascinated that he liked to stand up with his boom, 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 blues music or so. He
Yeah.
liked it so much. But then some years later, when he was, I think it was, when he was recording some later album in the late 70s, he was recording at Klaus' place in Honduras in a studio. But no, I never had any contact. I never had any. I never worked with him. So
Yeah, I understand.
but it's just nice. It's like this Achim Rodriguez. We met over the years from time to time, but never had any. Said, hi, how are you? And so this was really nice to perform now again with after
Well,
so many years.
I hope that we can get to see those images and hear the concert someday, because I'm sure it must have been special for you. Manuel, I want to thank you for your generosity, your time. I'm really glad that we finally met. And I want to thank Ilona very especially because she's been like helping us to, make the circle round because I've been a fan for so long and playing your music and trying to support it on radio. And I think I succeeded in many ways. And I'm glad. And I don't want to lose hope that you may return one day to play a few songs for us, a few tracks, pieces. So thank you for the amazing work. So what else can I say? Thanks for all the things you've sent. Do you remember you sent me an agenda, Tartuffe DVD? Yeah, you sent a lot of things. That was back in 2008. So thank you for that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. It was great to talk to you. And yes, I promise I will come
Please.
when it's ever anyway possible.
We will try to help whatever it's necessary to be there to do it. And I'm going to send an email to you or a message about, well, when I would like to get that DVD that you just were showing, the Ashra DVD, and when if the private tapes ever come out. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I send you a Schwingung, of course, the new edition.
You know what? I'm going to speak to you by inbox about the E2, E4. I only have it on CD. I have the reissue on CD, but I don't have the plastic. I'd like to have it in my collection. So again, thank you for all that we are watching. We are seeing there at the back. It's been an incredible journey and an incredible and nice, informative and fun conversation, Manuel. Thanks very much. Stay alive, stay well, take with care.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.